The galaxy was silent. Stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across a dark velvet sky. The human fleet glided through the void, their silver ships cutting through the darkness. Captain Elena Marks stood on the bridge of the flagship Aurora, her eyes scanning the infinite stretch of space. She had explored many systems before, but this one felt different. "This sector seems quiet," Lieutenant Hayes said, checking the instruments. No signs of activity, just empty space. Elena nodded but did not relax. Humans had learned long ago that the quietest places could hide the deadliest surprises. She turned to the main screen, watching distant planets rotate in silence. "Keep your eyes open. We don't know what we might find." Meanwhile, in the same sector, alien eyes watched the approaching human fleet. The alien species, called the Zylar, were small but fast, with glimmering scales and sharp minds. They had never seen humans before. Their ships, shaped like jagged crystals, hovered silently behind the shadows of distant asteroids. Commander Virak of the Zylar fleet frowned. "Sensors confirm it. The humans are here. They have entered our space." His voice was tense, almost fearful. "We must alert the High Council. Call for backup." A small scout ship shot out of hiding. Its engines glowed faint blue as it raced toward the nearest Zylar outpost. The humans, unaware of the eyes watching them, continued scanning planets and asteroids for resources and anomalies. Their mission was simple: explore, learn, and expand humanity's knowledge. On the Aurora, Elena leaned against the railing of the bridge, looking at the stars. "Humans have always been curious," she thought. "It is what makes us strong. We learn fast. We adapt. That is our power." Suddenly, an alarm blared. The navigation officer froze, staring at the screen. "Captain, unidentified ships detected. They're moving fast, and they're coming right at us." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The main screen displayed a fleet of strange, jagged ships. They moved like predators, swift and precise. The humans had never seen anything like them. The Zylar had not yet fired, but the tension in the space between the fleets was tangible, almost electric. "Open a channel." Elena ordered. "Let's see if they want to talk." The communication screen flickered. Then a strange, broken voice came through, filled with alarm. It was alien, but the tone was clear. Fear and desperation. "Humans leave," or the message cut off abruptly. The humans stared at the screen, unsure what to make of it. Lieutenant Hayes leaned forward. "Captain, they are scared. I have never seen an alien fleet send a warning like this. Something is wrong." Elena tapped her fingers on the railing. She loved challenges. Humans had faced many enemies before, but this was new. "Keep scanning. Prepare the defense systems. But do not fire. Let's see what they really want." Meanwhile, in a hidden corner of the galaxy, the Zylar High Council received a warning. "They are here," Virak said, his scales bristling with tension. "The humans, and they are not weak. We must call for reinforcements from the outer sectors. If we fail, our entire species may be in danger." Back on the Aurora, the human crew did not know the full scale of the threat. Yet, instinctively, they sensed the danger. Every sensor, every signal, every blinking light on the control panel screamed that something huge was coming. "Captain," the communications officer said, voice tight, "more ships are appearing on the sensors. Hundreds, maybe thousands. They are coming fast." Elena's heart pounded, but she did not show fear. "Alert all ships," she said calmly. "Prepare for engagement, but remember, humans survive because we think. Keep your heads clear. Let them underestimate us." The crew moved quickly, following her orders. Engineers ran to the engines. Weapons officers adjusted targeting systems. Scouts readied their drones. Every human on the fleet knew the moment of calm was over. The galaxy had noticed humanity, and the consequences were about to unfold. Far away, the Zylar fleet gathered. They moved with terrifying speed, yet uncertainty plagued them. They did not understand humans. They had never faced a species that could learn so fast, adapt so quickly, and survive against impossible odds. And that ignorance made them nervous. Back on the Aurora, Elena watched as the alien ships filled the sensors. A cold smile formed on her face. Humans were never the strongest physically. Their weapons were often smaller. But their minds were sharp. And sharp minds could turn even a hopeless battle into a victory. Everyone, she said, her voice steady, remember this. We are humans. They may call for backup. They may think they are stronger. But we survive. We adapt. And we fight when we have no other choice. The fleet held its formation. Silence returned for a brief moment, as if the universe itself waited. And then, the first alien ship jumped forward, breaking the calm. The war of intelligence, courage, and survival had begun, and the humans, unknown to the galaxy until now, were ready. The alien ship moved fast, cutting through the darkness like a jagged comet. Sensors on the Aurora lit up with warnings, but Captain Elena Marks stayed calm. All stations report. Status. Shields at 80%, weapons online. Lieutenant Hayes said, checking the console. They're fast, but not invincible. Elena's eyes narrowed. Humans had faced danger before, but never a fleet this strange. Every alien ship looked sharp and menacing, covered in jagged crystalline armor that reflected the stars. Open another channel, Elena said. Let's see if they still want to talk. The communication screen flickered again. The alien voice sounded urgent, almost panicked. Humans, leave. Do not fight. The words were broken and clipped, but the meaning was clear. Elena leaned back, smiling faintly. Humans understood fear too, and fear could be used. They are nervous, she thought. Good. That's when we are strongest. Suddenly, one of the alien ships fired. A bright pulse of energy shot across space toward the Aurora. Alarms blared. Crew members dove for their stations. Shields at 60%, the engineer shouted. Sparks flew across the bridge as a minor explosion rocked the ship. Elena gripped the railing. Return fire. Target the lead ship, but keep your distance. Observe their tactics. Learn. The human fleet reacted like a single organism. Small frigates darted around like schoolfish, confusing the alien sensors. Drones launched from the Aurora, buzzing around the enemy ships to gather data. Humans fought not just with weapons, but with brains. Every move was calculated. Every maneuver designed to test the aliens' responses. The aliens fired again. Pulses of energy slammed into fleet, but humans dodged, using clever turns and feints. Even smaller ships took on larger alien vessels, using speed and intelligence to survive. Captain, Hayes said, eyes wide, they're stronger than we expected. Their weapons, they adapt quickly. If we stay in a straight fight, we'll lose. Elena nodded. Then we won't fight straight. Use the asteroid belt ahead. Lure them in, make them crash, or overextend. Humans survive because we think. The fleet shifted course toward a dense asteroid field. The alien ships followed, unaware of the trap. Suddenly, one of the larger alien cruisers clipped a massive rock. Sparks flew, and its shields faltered. Direct hit, shouted the weapons officer. One ship down. The humans cheered quietly. It was a small victory, but important. Each move showed that humans were not weak. They could adapt, improvise, and survive, even against superior forces. But then a new message flashed across all human screens. The aliens were calling for backup. Their fleet was larger than the humans had first realized, and reinforcements were on the way. Backup. Elena murmured. So soon? Good. That gives us data. Hayes frowned. Captain, there will be too many. Even with our tactics, we can't hold them off if they come in full strength. Elena's jaw tightened. Then we don't hold them off. We outsmart them. Keep probing their weaknesses. Watch their communication patterns. Learn everything you can. Meanwhile, Commander Virak of the Zylar fleet barked orders. His crew scrambled. The humans had struck harder than expected. One of their ships was destroyed and several others had been damaged, but they were clever, unpredictable, and terrifyingly persistent. They learned too fast. Virak growled. Call the outer fleets. We cannot let humans take control here. Our species depend on it. Back on the Aurora, Elena watched the alien movements carefully. Every maneuver, every pulse of their energy weapons, every formation they tried, it was data, Humans had faced stronger enemies before, and every time, intelligence and unity had turned the tide. "Prepare boarding drones," she said calmly. "We might need to disable one of their ships up close, but only if necessary. Observation first." The first skirmish continued for hours. Small strikes, quick dodges, clever flares, and decoys. Humans managed to damage 2 more alien ships while keeping most of their fleet safe. It was clear, humans were not only survivors, but tacticians. They were learning faster than the aliens expected. And yet, the danger was real. The alien reinforcements were coming, faster than anyone had anticipated. Every sensor was filled with distant blips, growing larger, moving closer. The calm of space was over. Humans had made contact, and the galaxy was noticing. Elena stood on the bridge, her eyes cold but steady. "We have survived the first wave," she said. "But this is only the beginning. They think they are strong. They think we are weak. Soon they will see the truth." The crew watched the stars ahead. The first contact had ended, but the battle was far from over. Somewhere in the darkness, the Zylar High Council was sending orders. And somewhere in the void, more ships were heading toward humanity. Ships that would test every skill, every tactic, and every bit of courage humans had. The war had begun. Humans were not ready to lose. Not now. Not ever. The human fleet had retreated to a nearby asteroid field. Rocks of all sizes floated in the darkness, providing cover and protection. The Aurora and its companions huddled together, engines glowing faintly, repairing minor damage from the first contact. Captain Elena Marks stood on the bridge, staring at the endless black void. Her crew worked quietly, but tension hung in the air. Every human knew reinforcements were on the way. The alien fleet was larger than they had first realized, and soon it would surround them. "We can't fight them head-on," Elena said, her voice calm but firm. "We've seen their strength. We've seen how they adapt. But we also know something they do not." Lieutenant Hayes tilted his head. "Curious. What is that, Captain?" Elena turned to him. "Humans think differently. We adapt faster. We learn from mistakes. That is our advantage. If we want to survive, we must use our minds first, our weapons second." The crew nodded, understanding the unspoken truth. Humans had survived countless dangers by being clever. They were not the strongest physically, but their intelligence and teamwork had always turned impossible into victory. Elena activated the fleet's tactical display. A map of the galaxy sector appeared, showing the approaching alien fleet. "We need information," she said. "We need to know their weakness." The engineers and scouts got to work. Drones launched silently, darting between asteroids and alien sensors. They recorded weapon patterns, shield fluctuations, and communication signals. Every detail mattered. Humans were patient. They would strike only when the time was right. Hours passed. The alien reinforcements drew closer. Their ships moved with terrifying speed, cutting through space like jagged stars. Commander Virak's messages were urgent, demanding faster attacks and more power. But humans observed, learning. They were like predators studying a stronger animal, waiting for the perfect moment. Then a breakthrough. One of the scouts reported a pattern. "Captain," the technician said, pointing at the screen. "The alien ships rely on a central communication hub. It coordinates the entire fleet. If it goes down, their ships lose formation and become disorganized." Elena's eyes lit up. "That's it. That's our advantage." The plan was simple but dangerous. A small strike team would infiltrate the alien fleet, locate the hub, and disable it. If successful, the aliens' advantage would vanish, and the humans could fight on equal footing. "Lieutenant Hayes, you will lead the strike team," Elena said. "Keep it fast and precise. No unnecessary risks. Everyone else will provide support from here. We cannot lose anyone unnecessarily." Hayes nodded, determination in his eyes. "We won't fail, Captain." Meanwhile, in the distant alien fleet, Commander Virak sensed a change. The humans had retreated, but something was different. "They are planning something," he growled. "Humans are dangerous. They think fast. Be ready for anything." Back on the Aurora, The strike team prepared their smaller ships. Engines hummed softly as weapons were checked. Everyone knew the mission was dangerous, but fear did not stop humans. It sharpened their minds and focused their courage. Elena watched as the strike ships left the asteroid field, moving like shadows toward the alien fleet. "Remember," she said, almost to herself, "humans survive because we never give up. We adapt. We find a way." The team approached the alien formation cautiously. Sensors flickered with enemy signals. The communication hub was well guarded, surrounded by a cluster of larger ships. Any mistake would alert the entire fleet. Hayes signaled the team. "Move in formation. Stealth first. Observe their shields, timing, patterns. We strike only when everything is perfect." Minutes felt like hours. Every drone, every scan, every movement was crucial. Then the opportunity came. The hub shield cycle had a small gap, only a few seconds long, but enough for the humans to strike. "Now!" Hayes shouted. The strike team fired a coordinated blast, hitting the hub directly. Energy sparks flew, shields faltered, and for a moment, the alien fleet went silent. Confusion rippled through their ranks. Ships fired randomly, colliding with each other, losing formation. The humans had done it. They had found a weakness and exploited it. Back on the Aurora, the crew watched the chaos unfold on the sensors. Cheers broke out, but Elena held up her hand. "It's not over. The aliens will regroup, but this is the first step. Our intelligence, our courage, and our strategy have given us an edge. Never forget, humans survive because we adapt." Commander Virak bellowed orders in frustration. His fleet was in chaos, but he would not give up. "Call the outer reinforcements. We cannot allow humans to continue. They must be destroyed." Elena turned to her crew. "They will come, but we are ready. They think humans are weak. Soon they will learn the truth." The fleet rested briefly, repairing minor damage and preparing for the next wave. The first strike had been successful, but the galaxy was far from safe. Humans had shown their cleverness, but the aliens were dangerous, relentless, and determined. And somewhere, deep in the darkness of space, the next challenge waited. A challenge that would test every skill, every decision, and every ounce of courage the humans possessed. The war was far from over, but humans had learned something important. Even in the darkest moments, with courage, intelligence, and unity, they could face impossible odds and survive. The asteroid field shimmered in the distance as the human fleet prepared for their strike. Captain Elena Marks stood on the bridge of the Aurora, her gaze fixed on the approaching alien fleet. The Zylar ships were gathering, unaware that the humans had discovered their communication hub and were planning a counterattack. Shields at full capacity. Weapons ready, Lieutenant Hayes reported. His fingers flew across the console as he coordinated the fleet. "They're coming straight into our trap, Captain." Elena nodded. "Good. Keep your focus. Remember, we fight with our minds first. Let's make them regret underestimating us." The first alien ships entered the asteroid field. Their jagged crystalline hulls gleamed as they navigated carefully through the dense rocks. But the humans had studied every path, every gap, every potential hiding spot. Drones moved silently, sending real-time data back to the fleet. Suddenly, a group of human frigates darted out, firing precise energy blasts. The alien ships were caught off guard. One collided with a massive asteroid, its shields sparking and failing. Another swerved sharply, losing formation. Chaos rippled through the enemy fleet. "Now!" Elena shouted. "Full assault. Keep them disoriented." The human ships moved with perfect coordination, striking in small waves and then retreating behind rocks. They used speed, agility, and intelligence rather than brute force. Every maneuver was calculated, exploiting the confusion caused by the first strike on the alien hub. One of the larger alien cruisers tried to regroup. Commander Virak's voice boomed through their communication network. "Form up. Do not let them break our lines." But the humans were always one step ahead. Using the asteroid field, they created false paths, drawing alien ships into traps. One human frigate flew through a narrow gap, leading a group of Zylar ships into a tight corridor. The corridor was too narrow for the alien size and weapons to function properly. A well-timed energy blast disabled 2 ships instantly. Excellent work, Elena said, her voice steady but filled with pride. They think they're stronger. They don't understand humans. We adapt. We learn. We survive. Meanwhile, the Zylar fleet was in disarray. Signals were garbled, communication between their ships faltered, and their coordination broke down. They had underestimated humans, not in strength but in strategy. Vyrak's frustration grew. He realized too late that the humans had studied their fleet, learned their patterns, and turned their own strengths against them. Hayes guided a small strike team toward the alien communication hub. "This is our chance," he said. "We disable the hub completely, and their fleet becomes useless." Elena nodded. "Do it. Remember, minimal risk. Precision over force." The strike team weaved through the chaotic battlefield, dodging enemy fire and weaving around asteroids. They reached the hub, and within seconds, explosives and hacking drones were deployed. Sparks flew as the hub systems faltered. Energy pulses flickered. Shields dropped, and suddenly, the alien fleet was blind, directionless, and vulnerable. "Hub disabled," Hayes reported. "Their fleet, they're falling apart." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Humans survive because we think faster than our enemies. Let's finish this first wave cleanly." With the hub offline, the human fleet pressed the advantage. Alien ships crashed into asteroids, collided with each other, or fled blindly into open space. Human engineers and gunners worked in perfect synchronization, striking weak points with deadly accuracy. Every move emphasized intelligence over sheer force, a hallmark of humanity's survival instinct. Still, the battle was not without cost. Several human ships took damage, and minor casualties occurred. But each loss was calculated, minimized by clever maneuvers and teamwork. The humans were not reckless. They were precise, adaptive, and relentless. Far away, Vyrak realized the full scale of the defeat. His fleet was shattered, his reinforcements delayed, and his communication hub destroyed. "Humans," he growled, scales bristling with fury and fear. "They are stronger than we imagined." Back on the Aurora, Elena addressed her crew. "Today, we showed the galaxy what humans are capable of. Not just strength, not just weapons, but our intelligence, our courage, and our unity. Never forget this feeling. We are humans, and humans survive." The fleet regrouped behind the asteroid field. Repairs were made, shields recharged, and sensors scanned the remaining enemies. The Zylar ships that survived retreated, regrouping for the next attack. Elena studied the data coming from a battle. "This is only the beginning," she said quietly. "They will call for more forces, and we must be ready. But today we won, and that is what matters." As the stars twinkled silently around them, humans had taken the first real victory against a far larger, more powerful enemy. But somewhere in the dark reaches of the galaxy, the Zylar High Council was sending out desperate calls for reinforcements, a fleet so large it could crush entire star systems. The humans had won the ambush, but the war was far from over. The human fleet regrouped quietly behind the asteroid field, repairing minor damage, recharging shields, and analyzing the battle data. Captain Elena Marks stood on the bridge of the Aurora, eyes fixed on the void beyond the asteroids. They had won the ambush, but the taste of victory was tempered by the knowledge that the battle was far from over. "Captain," Lieutenant Hayes said, his voice tight, "I'm picking up massive energy signatures on long-range sensors. Something enormous is coming." Elena's heart did not race, but her mind sharpened. "Show me." The screens lit up with hundreds of distant blips, moving fast and with terrifying coordination. This was no ordinary reinforcements. The Zylar High Council had called in the outer fleets, an alliance of alien species from across the galaxy, bound by fear and desperation. The humans were about to face an overwhelming force. The bridge fell silent as the fleet realized the scale. Hundreds of alien ships, much larger and stronger than anything they'd encountered, were approaching at breakneck speed. Their energy signatures lit up the dark space like a deadly storm. "They think our first strike will stop them," Elena said calmly. "They are wrong." Hayes shook his head. "Captain," Even with our strategy, we can't fight all of them head-on. The numbers, it's too many. Elena turned to him, her eyes fierce. Humans survive because we don't always fight like others. We adapt, we improvise, and we make impossible odds possible. We won the first battle with intelligence. We can do it again. Across the galaxy, Commander Virak's scales shimmered with relief and fury. His voice boomed through the alien fleet. Outer fleets converge. The humans must be destroyed. They have humiliated us. They think they're clever, but together, we are unstoppable. Back on the Aurora, Elena studied the approaching fleet. We need a plan. Defensive formation, distractions, ambush points. Everything must be precise. Humans survive because we prepare, think, and act with courage. The crew move with practice efficiency. Engineers prepared the energy shields to bend light, making ships partially invisible in the asteroid field. Drone units were deployed to confuse enemy sensors, creating phantom ships to mislead the alien fleet. Every human understood the gravity of the situation. One mistake could mean annihilation. Then, sensors detected the first wave breaking from the main formation. Smaller alien frigates darted ahead, testing human defenses. They fired energy pulses, probing for weaknesses. Human gunners returned fire, but avoided full engagement. Instead, they lured the alien ships into narrow corridors among massive asteroids, where size and agility became liabilities. Good, Elena said. They are walking right into our plan. Suddenly, a distant explosion lit up the void. One of the alien frigates collided with a hidden asteroid, its shields failing under miscalculated maneuvers. Cheers erupted quietly on the bridge. The humans had survived the first probe, but the main fleet was still coming, larger and more dangerous than anything they had faced. Hayes looked uneasy. Captain, the main fleet, it's almost here. Thousands of ships. Energy signatures off the charts. They will hit us hard. Elena's expression hardened. Let them come. Humans are not weak. We have survived worse, and we will survive this too. Stay sharp. Stay united, and remember, every move we make matters. Every plan we execute can turn the tide. As a massive alien fleet drew closer, tension rippled through the human fleet. The void of space felt heavier, filled with the silent anticipation of war. Yet, humans did not falter. Their unity, their courage, and their sharp minds gave them strength that numbers alone could not match. Then, a message flashed across the human sensors, a warning from a scout drone. The alien fleet was splitting into multiple formations, surrounding them from all sides. The scale of the attack was overwhelming. Even with clever strategies, the humans could be crushed if they made a single mistake. Elena tapped her fingers on the console, thinking fast. We fight differently, not just with weapons, but with strategy. We use the terrain, the asteroids, our drones. We hit them where they don't expect. We strike and vanish. Humans survive because we are unpredictable. As the first massive ships entered firing range, humans braced. Energy pulses shot across space, hitting asteroids and creating debris that altered trajectories. The smaller human ships darted in and out, striking weak points and confusing the enemy. Every human crew member moved as one, coordinated and fearless. Even as the alien fleet pressed harder, the humans did not panic. They knew fear could not win battles. Intelligence, courage, and teamwork could. Elena looked at the approaching waves of alien ships and smiled faintly. They think numbers decide victory. They are about to learn the truth. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath. The humans had survived ambushes before, but this was the ultimate test. An entire alien alliance, massive and overwhelming, against a fleet that was small, smart, and brave. And yet, humans did what humans always did. They adapted. They learned. They prepared. And they would fight. The war was no longer just a battle between fleets. It was a war of minds, courage, and survival. And Captain Elena Marks and her fleet were ready to prove that humanity was not to be underestimated. The void of space trembled with approaching alien energy. The massive Zylar alliance had arrived, thousands of ships spreading across the horizon like a deadly storm. Captain Elena Marks stood on the bridge of the Aurora, eyes fixed on the advancing fleet. Every sensor blared with energy readings, and every human aboard felt the tension deep in their bones. "Captain," Lieutenant Hayes said, voice tight, "they are massive. Their numbers, it's almost impossible." Elena nodded calmly. Impossible is only a word. Humans survive because we adapt, because we learn, because we do not panic. Today we fight smarter, faster, and together. The alien fleet began firing. Pulses of energy lit up the dark expanse, striking asteroids, sending debris tumbling into space, and forcing human ships to weave and dodge. The smaller human vessels darted through gaps in the asteroid field, striking quickly and vanishing before the larger alien ships could retaliate. "Use the debris," Elena ordered. "Make them crash. Force them to lose formation." Humans survive because we exploit every advantage. Human gunners fired precision shots at the alien engines and weapon systems. Drones created false targets, causing entire squadrons to waste energy and collide with asteroids. Humans did not have the brute force of the Zylar fleet, but they had intelligence, teamwork, and courage, a combination the aliens had underestimated. Meanwhile, Commander Virak's fury grew. Destroy them. Do not let humans think they are clever. Break their fleet. The alien ships pushed forward, but the human fleet moved as one. Every maneuver, every strike, every diversion was calculated. Smaller frigates drew alien ships into narrow asteroid corridors. Larger ships waited to fire at weak points revealed by drone reconnaissance. Every human move was precise and deadly. Then, a twist. A group of human engineers activated an experimental device, a pulse emitter that temporarily scrambled alien sensors. Alien ships fired blindly, colliding with each other, energy weapons misfiring into the void. Chaos spread through the enemy fleet. Elena smiled faintly. Humans survive because we innovate. They never expected this. Lieutenant Hayes led a strike team toward the remaining alien capital ships. "We hit their command center," he said. "One precise strike could turn the battle." Elena nodded. "Do it. Remember, precision over power. Humans win by thinking faster than their enemies." The strike team weaved through the chaotic battlefield, dodging energy blasts and navigating debris. Their target, the main alien command ship. Using drones and stealth maneuvers, they reached the ship's weak point. Explosives and hacking devices were deployed. Systems failed. Shields flickered, and the command ship lost coordination. Across the battlefield, alien ships faltered. Some drifted aimlessly, others collided, and energy beams misfired. Humans seized the advantage, attacking in waves, hitting the weakest points, and retreating before the aliens could react. Virak roared in frustration. "They are too clever. They survive everything. This cannot be." Elena watched the chaos unfold, her crew calm but alert. "This is why humans survive," she thought. "We think, we adapt, we fight. Numbers cannot win against intelligence, courage, and unity." As the battle reached its peak, the Zylar fleet began to retreat, their coordination broken, morale low. Humans had turned impossible odds into a victory. Ships fired their last volleys, targeting retreating enemies, ensuring none could regroup too soon. Elena addressed the crew over the intercom. "Today, humanity showed the galaxy what we are capable of. Not just strength, not just weapons, but minds that think, courage that never falters, and unity that cannot be broken. Remember this day." The fleet regrouped behind the asteroid field. Damage was repaired, shields recharged, and sensors scanned the remaining enemy. The alien alliance was shattered, forced to retreat in defeat, but humans knew the galaxy was still dangerous. Even as the Zylar ships disappeared into the distance, a quiet tension remained. Somewhere in the darkness, other forces might be watching, waiting for their chance. But for now, humanity had won against overwhelming odds. Elena looked at the stars, a faint smile on her lips. "We survived, but this is only the beginning. Humans survive, and we will keep surviving no matter the challenge." The crew cheered quietly. They had faced the impossible and prevailed. Humans had proved their intelligence, courage, and unpredictability, a combination no alien could ever fully anticipate. The galaxy now knew one thing. Humans were not to be underestimated. The stars shimmered silently as the last of the alien ships retreated into the darkness of space. The human fleet hovered among the asteroids, engines humming softly, shields flickering as they stabilized. Captain Elena Marks stood on the bridge of the Aurora, exhausted but resolute. The battle was over, for now. Lieutenant Hayes leaned against the console, rubbing his eyes. They really retreated. After everything, we actually did it. Elena nodded. Yes, we did. But remember, Hayes, this is just one battle. The galaxy is vast, and there are others who will not welcome humanity so easily. Today, we've earned respect, but tomorrow, we must be ready for more. The crew quietly repaired damaged ships and tended to the wounded. Minor injuries and damaged hulls reminded everyone that victory had come at a cost. Yet the mood was electric. Humans had faced a massive, technologically superior alien alliance and survived. They had not just survived, they had won. Across the galaxy, the Zylar High Council convened in haste. Commander Virak's scales were dull with frustration. Humans, they are not what we expected, he growled. We underestimated their minds, their courage, and their adaptability. We must retreat, but never forget this humiliation. Back on the Aurora, Elena watched the alien ships vanish into the void. They think retreat means defeat, she said softly. But humans never wait for the enemy to strike again. We prepare, we learn, and we adapt. That is our strength. The fleet regrouped, scanning the sector for remaining threats. Drones mapped nearby star systems, searching for hidden fleets or danger. Engineers worked tirelessly to restore full operational status to every ship. And in the quiet moments, the humans celebrated, not with loud parties, but with quiet pride. They had survived the impossible and had proven something vital. Humanity could not be underestimated. Hayes approached Elena, a hint of a smile on his face. Captain, the fleet performed beautifully. Every move, every maneuver, it was perfect coordination. I've never seen anything like it. Elena smiled faintly. Not perfect, but clever. Humans survive because we think, because we adapt, and because we never give up. Today, we showed the galaxy who we are. As the fleet prepared to move onward, sensors picked up faint signals far in the distance. Mysterious blips, irregular patterns, and encrypted transmissions. Signals from an unknown species, more advanced and secretive than Zylar. Elena narrowed her eyes. So this is not the end. The galaxy has more secrets, more challenges, and more enemies waiting for us. But humans will face them all, and we will survive. That is who we are. The crew of the Aurora exchanged looks of determination. They had faced overwhelming odds, survived ambushes, and beaten back a superior alien fleet. Their courage, intelligence, and unity had turned the tide. Humanity had risen, not through brute force, but through strategy, adaptability, and relentless determination. From distant systems, other alien species began to take notice. Reports of humans defeating a massive alliance spread quickly. Whispers of admiration and fear reached far corners of the galaxy. Humans were no longer seen as a small exploratory force. They were a rising power, clever, brave, and unpredictable. Elena stood on the bridge, gazing at the stars stretching infinitely ahead. Today we survived. Tomorrow we will thrive. And one day, the galaxy will learn that humans are not just explorers, not just survivors. We are leaders. We are fighters. And we are unstoppable when we stand together. As the fleet moved out of the asteroid field and continued deeper into galaxy, the stars sparkled like witnesses to humanity's rise. The humans were ready for the unknown, ready for challenges far greater than any battle they had fought. They had earned their place in the cosmos, and nothing, not numbers, not power, not fear, could take that away. And somewhere, far beyond the edge of human exploration, the mysterious new signals pulsed. A challenge greater than anything yet faced waited silently in the void. But the humans did not fear it. They had survived the impossible. They had defeated the strongest known alien alliance. They had proven their intelligence, their courage, and their unity. Captain Elena Marks smiled. "Let them come," she whispered. "Humans survive, and we will show the galaxy our strength." The human fleet sailed onward, victorious yet vigilant. The galaxy had seen their courage, and humanity had risen, not just as survivors, but as a force to be reckoned with. The stars stretched infinitely ahead, filled with unknown dangers, opportunities, and mysteries. But humanity was ready, and the galaxy would never forget the name of the human fleet. The human fleet had sailed beyond the asteroid fields, deeper into the uncharted regions of the galaxy. Repairs were complete, shields were fully charged, and morale was high. Captain Elena Marks walked slowly across the bridge of the Aurora, eyes scanning the star-filled darkness outside. Humanity had proven itself against the Zylar alliance, but quiet tension lingered. Lieutenant Hayes approached, holding a small data tablet. Captain, sensors are picking up something unusual. Faint energy signals, unlike anything we've seen before. Not Zylar, not any known species. They're different. Elena's eyes narrowed. Show me. The screen displayed faint, irregular pulses stretching across multiple star systems. The patterns were complex, almost like coded messages or warnings. Something, or someone, was observing humanity, waiting, calculating. Could be a trap? Hayes said, voice low. After the Zylar defeat, any advanced species would take notice. They might see us as a threat. Elena clenched her jaw, or they could see us as prey. Either way, humans survive because we don't panic. We analyze. We adapt. We prepare. Across the galaxy, in a hidden quadrant shrouded in darkness, an unseen alien intelligence observed the human fleet. Its ships were massive, sleek, and almost invisible to ordinary sensors. Long before the Zylar Alliance had ever faced humans, this mysterious race had tracked their progress. They had studied every encounter, noting human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. The observers whispered among themselves in a language that sounded like musical pulses, their voices unintelligible yet filled with calculation. The humans different, faster, smarter, unexpected. Back on the Aurora, Elena gathered her senior officers. "We don't know what we're dealing with yet," she said. "These signals are unlike anything in our records. But I know one thing. Humans survive because we face the unknown with courage. We adapt, and we fight." Sensors continue to pick up strange anomalies. Energy fluctuations, uncharted objects, and bursts of light in distant systems, all pointing to an intelligence far more advanced than the Zylar. Even now, hidden in the shadows, the species observed, waiting for the right moment to make contact or attack. Hayes frowned. "Captain, if they are this advanced, our current tactics may not be enough. We could be walking into a trap." Elena smiled faintly. "Then we walk carefully and intelligently. Humans survive because we learn faster than our enemies. If this is a trap, we will turn it into an opportunity." As the fleet moved forward, strange things began to happen. Communication relays briefly cut out. Sensor readings warped. Some crew members reported fleeting visions on their monitors, glimpses of strange ships appearing and disappearing faster than light could travel. No one knew if it was malfunction or something more. The tension aboard the fleet grew. Humans had faced impossible odds before, but the unknown carried a different weight. It was not just about numbers or weapons. It was about intelligence, adaptability, and the courage to face something no one fully understood. Elena stood before the navigation console, her hand hovering above the controls. "We don't retreat. We move cautiously, we gather data, and we prepare for what comes. Humans survive not because the path is safe, but because we make it safe through courage and intelligence." Hayes nodded. "What should our next step be, Captain?" Elena's gaze was fixed on the distant star systems. "We explore, we observe, and we prepare. If this new intelligence wants war, we'll be ready. And if they want to communicate, we will show them that humans are strong, clever, and united." From the shadows of the unknown, a massive ship began to move. Its outline shimmered faintly against the starlight, far larger and faster than any human or Zylar vessel. Sensors picked up its pulse, and even the fleet's most advanced instruments struggled to classify it. "Captain, it's huge," Hayes whispered, "and it's heading straight for us." Elena's expression hardened. "Good. Let them come. Humans survive because we never give up, we never surrender, and we never underestimate the power of courage and intelligence. The bridge fell silent as the fleet prepared for the unknown. Engines hummed, shields flared, and weapons readied. The humans had won the Zylar War. But now, a new chapter was beginning, one that would test them in ways they had never imagined. Somewhere, beyond the veil of stars, the Watchers waited. The humans were clever, brave, and unpredictable. That much was clear. And soon, the galaxy would learn that humanity was not just surviving, it was rising. Captain Elena Marks looked at the endless expanse before them. "The galaxy is vast," she said softly, "and humans, we are ready for whatever comes next." The fleet moved forward into the unknown, the stars silent witnesses to the rise of humanity.